Welcome back, everybody. So today is part 3 of what happened to my baby. I am going to jump right in, but before I do, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel, you guys. And so I missed some steps, so we're going to go back to her injury date. So on her injury date, she was rushed into the hospital, UC Davis, for an emergency brain surgery to relieve the swelling on her brain. Her brain was swelling minute by minute, so they had to open up her head and remove about 3/4 of her skull and put her in the ICU so she can recover. While in the ICU, a week later, she slipped into a coma, and she was in a coma for 2 months. While in a coma, her bio mom was informed of the fact that she was in a coma. She had her grandparents there that had flew in from out of town. All the family was there. And her bio mom was talking with her grandpa and was saying, what are we going to do about Maddie? She's in a coma. And the doctor says, well, I just want to also let you guys know that because she is in a coma, due to the significant damage of her brain, 75% of her brain is already damaged. So if she is to continue to stay in a coma, when she does come out of the coma, her brain will be damaged at 83%, meaning she will be a vegetable is what they call it. No ability to really talk, just more of like a noises coming out. She won't have a normal source of life in her. So as baby Maddie is in the coma, bio mom decides, let's go ahead and remove her off of life support. They had to put her on life support the entire time that she was in the coma because she was having a lot of issues during her coma. She wasn't just in the coma with, assistance with breathing. There was so many other things going on with her, you guys. Her brain damage was very significant. So bio mom decides, let's remove her from life support. So grandma from the dad's side steps in and she's like, hell no. She's only been in a coma 2 months. What do you mean? What are you talking about? You're going to take her off of life support. So they got into it at the hospital. The mom goes, this is what I'm reading and hearing from staff members and stuff like that. So bio mom decides she wants to go into a rant and cry and somehow or another put the attention on her, and she runs off, hides in a corner and like balls up and stays like in a fetal position for like hours, right? So don't ask me who was able to make these medical calls for her besides mom, because if she was acting a fool like that, I don't know who made the decision finally to keep her on life support, but it was made. The decision was made. Pardon me, guys. I gotta take a sip. So she comes to after 2 months with minimal ability to speak. But y'all, she came all the way out. She was talking. She was moving her eyes side to side. She was smiling. And after about 4 weeks, she was able to recite every sibling's name that was in the room visiting her that day. So it just really makes my heart happy to know how strong she is. You guys, like seriously, like for real. I can't even believe it. So after she is in the hospital and she is in the ICU, she's healing. She's trying to get everything back. She has a what do they call that thing? A tracheotomy placed in her throat to assist with breathing. She had her G-tube placed. She had a helmet on her head to protect her exposed skull. and so many other things, you know, wires. She's hooked up to IVs, all kind of stuff. And in all of that, she was still fighting to stay alive. So 2 months later, she has to come back into the UC Davis surgery department for another brain surgery. 2 months after her first one, you guys. Can you imagine? A brain surgery is a very major surgery. I'm sure a lot of you guys know that. And her only being 2 years old, I mean, you can only imagine. So, you know, she goes through that again, and she gets stable. Took her a few months, but she gets stable. Unfortunately, at the time, UC Davis did not have enough evidence against BioMom for neglect. So they had to, they basically had to let her go back home with her mom. Big mistake. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to expose certain things as into why Maddie got in our care. Again, I'm not doing this video, you guys, to expose anyone so she can be dragged, or that, you know, anybody could try to figure out, you know, any information about her. I mean, clearly this woman was on something, going through something, unhappy somewhere, somehow, and was making the most craziest decisions and had a very poor lack of judgment when it came to her children. I'm not saying what she did was right, and because I'm definitely saying she's wrong. I'm just saying that I'm not on here to like, you know, come for her, basically. But I have my say, and I'm her mom now, and I have some things that that's been bottled up inside of me that I feel is an issue. And I never talked about it, because when you have children in foster care, you have to stay private about what you say, what you do. You can't have your baby that you have in your care at that time all on Facebook, Instagram, nothing. You can get in trouble, blah, blah. So anyway, baby goes home with BioMom. She gets there, and they are like, before she leaves, they're like, hey, check this out. She has to come back right after this, 2 weeks later, for a follow-up neurology appointment. She needs to see the neurosurgeon. She has to have cosmetic surgery to fix her droopy eye, her exposed skull. She needs lots and lots of medical attention. This does not mean that when we release her to you, you never bring her back. She didn't just fall and scrape her knee. So BioMom's like, I am committed to that. I will do that. This is my baby. I'll be bringing her back. So 2 weeks come and go. Immediately the doctor's note. Now, mind you, I have all of the doctor's notes. And the gastro doctor for her G-tube, they need to check it. They need to see if she needs additional fluids. Is she gaining weight? Is she getting the proper nutrients? They need to see her. That time comes and goes. She don't show up. They're like, okay, we're about to note that, because UC Davis was just lying in wait to build their case against the mom, because they had already judged her, and they weren't wrong. Sometimes they do be wrong, but this time they weren't. So they were ready. So they're like, okay, all these appointments are getting missed. So fast forward, all 6 or 7, she had a PM&R doctor, she had an ENT doctor, she had an ophthalmologist, she had a neurosurgeon, a regular neurologist, a gastro doctor, she had an eye doctor, she had several different specialists, you guys. None of the appointments were made. So after a while of noticing, okay, this is not working out, you guys, Maddie needs to be seen. The UC Davis team gets together and they huddle and they're talking about it. They haven't forgot about her. She must have thought that they were going to send the baby home and they were just going to up and forget about her. No, They huddled. They were like, look, what notes do you have? Did she come to your appointment? No, she didn't make yours either, blah, blah, blah. So what happens? They contact Child Protective Services. And they attempted to come by there more than once. You know, Bio Mom's like, hey, I don't have any means of transportation. Are you guys going to help me? They're like, sure. To get her to the appointment? Absolutely. Here's some bus passes. Get her there. Time comes and goes again. So by this time, she's offered service number 1, which is Child Protective Services is stepping in and saying, hey, we will help you. Okay? We will give you what you need. Just take her. More appointments are missed. Okay? I'm not going to speak for the other children right now. Okay? I'm only speaking for her because there's several more things to be brought up. Appointments are missed. Child Protective Services returns again. They're like, we need to see you. She's like, no. If you guys want me to speak with you and you want me to cooperate and you guys want me to accept your services, then you guys need to help me. Lady, this ain't about you. You have a daughter sitting in there right now in a wheelchair who has not been seen by any of her specialists that she was supposed to follow up with after her surgeries, after all of that damage that was done to her. And you have the audacity to be stubborn, have the nerve to make it about you. So the worker leaves and she returns again after so much evidence. I'm fast forwarding because I'm leaving some stuff out because the video will become forever. And they finally remove Maddie from her care. When they get there, Maddie is sitting in a high chair. When they pick her up, her diaper is full. She has crumbs all underneath her butt. She has food down in her diaper. She had no clothes on but her diaper. Her skin was dirty. Her hair hadn't been washed. She was just in the high chair. And they took her and immediately put her in the hospital. And when they did that, they worked on her immediately. You know, they started hydrating her. They started immediately giving her G-tube feedings. They started tending to her, giving her CAT scans, checking her brain, making sure it's not bleeding, you know, things like that. So they got her all healthy, and that's when we came into the picture, healthy enough to take her home. So that was the part that I left out for you guys, was I didn't inform you guys of that, and that was a very important piece. And again, you know, I'm not making this video for no other purpose but for my daughter to be known and for people to know her story, because she's incredible, and her story is incredible. So before moving on, I also wanted to bring up another piece. So Maddie was born at 7 months when her mommy was pregnant, 7 months. Okay, she was born exposed to opiates. She was going through some withdrawals, medically going through all of those withdrawals in the hospital. She was in the ICU. She was incubated. She was very tiny when she was born. She was only born 3 pounds, and she was fighting for her life then. Born early, exposed to drugs, and was fighting for her life. And then this happens to her. So now this has set her back again. So she's back in the hospital again, going through so many different things, you guys. And it was just a lot. So that's already bad enough that she was going through that much in her life already in the beginning, the very beginning. She started her life fighting for her life. So when this happened, she continued to fight, you guys. When the helicopter came and got her that day, when she was injured, she was fighting. She passed away 3 times on the way to the hospital, and she continued to come back. And when she stopped breathing, and they weren't getting any response from her at 11 minutes, they were able to bring her back again. So the fact that she was missing all these appointments, it actually delayed her ability to recover. So it kind of makes me a little upset too, because I wish that CPS would have taken her earlier. And I'm talking about right when the accident happened. But it didn't work out like that. And due to the fact that they had to follow protocol, the mother was able to take her daughter home and help her to miss all of these appointments, which put her further and further and further back in her recovery. If only she would have been taking her to PT and OT. If only she would have been following up with her neurologist and been right there by her side each and every step of the way, Maddie would have recovered a whole lot better. So it's unfortunate, because she was such a young life, and her life was in the hands of other people, and people that she's supposed to be able to trust, and people that are supposed to protect her, and it didn't happen that way. So unfortunately, she ended up in a way worse predicament now, which is why she is almost 7 years old and still cannot walk, which is why she's almost 7 years old and can barely use the left side of her body. She doesn't have the proper balance. She scares easy. She still has seizures. She's on tons of medications to keep everything under control for her. She still vomits when she eats too much because of the whole way that the G-tube was placed in her belly. She still has to go to constant doctor's appointments to meet with specialists all the time. She still has a very large indent in her head because part of her skull is gone. So all of these things happened within 2 years of her life, and she is still to this day dealing with it. She is still to this day suffering from the abuse that some crazy little boy put her through. And it's just horrific, you guys. But the good thing is that she is thriving. And she's getting better each day. She used to not be able to sit up. Now she can climb stairs, you guys. She can climb up. She can climb down. She can get on and off of her bed. She can get on and off of a couch. She can get into and out of her seat. You name it. She is literally thriving, but she still suffers in a lot of ways. And of course, I'm going to go into more details about her story, and I want you guys to stay tuned for it, because I plan on discussing what the child, meaning the person who harmed her, had to say about all of this. And we did do our due diligence, and we placed ourselves on the victims list. And the victims list, for those who don't know, is when a person goes to prison for either killing or almost killing someone in your family, and they are eligible for parole eventually. You have the right to speak up at the parole hearing and be there and be present with, the judge or your attorney or whatnot, and say, hey, I don't agree. I feel that he should continue to stay here. And I do. How I feel is this. For every day she has to suffer is every day he has to suffer. 16 or not, he knew better. That's why it's so important for people to teach their kids right from wrong. because when you don't teach them, they don't understand the extent of committing a crime sometimes. Sometimes they might think, okay, how do I control my anger? I think if he would have controlled his anger, of course he would have been in a better predicament. But if you don't teach your kids how to control your anger, what lines you can cross, what lines you should not cross, what consequences are, she has to suffer every single day. Literally, you guys. She has to wake up every morning and look at her siblings running around playing, and she can't do none of it. When her birthday comes around and everybody's playing and jumping around and having a good time, she can't do that. She gets frustrated. We have to help her when she's crying. We have to teach her why she's like this. Imagine how we feel. So now we're like, no. You know, it's all about, it comes down to split-second decisions. Again, yeah, he was a little kid, but dang. That's what, like, he should have been taught. That's what I'm saying. I'm like getting all stumbling over my words over here, you guys, because I'm like getting irritated, because I'm like, he should have been taught. That's why it's important to teach your kids. So, I don't know, you guys, there's so much more, and I'm not even done. I feel like I'm just barely getting started, but her story continues, so I want you guys to stick around for it. I will be tuning back in with you guys tomorrow. This video will go up tonight. What's today? Wednesday? Yeah. So I'll be posting this video again, or posting this video today, not again, but I'll be adding to it because there's so much more. I want to say we're going to probably end up at about 5 parts, because I don't want the videos to go on for too long, because sometimes people tune out when a video is too long. So anywhere between, when you're posting on YouTube, anywhere between 20 to 25 minutes is about all you need to keep people's attention. So please continue to watch the channel, you guys, and follow. And please remember, if you have kids, teach them, okay? They need to learn, because everybody suffered in this incident that happened to my baby. It wasn't just her, it was him too. He was a young child who made a split-second decision, and now he's in prison for the rest of his life. Her siblings were affected. Her mother was affected. Her father was affected. All of the staff at the UC Davis Hospital, everyone was involved, and everyone was affected by this one child's decision to lose his temper and pick up a child that small and slam her into something and kill her. So it's very important that you teach your kids, you guys. It's just, I can't stress it enough. I have 8 kids, and I have raised them all, and they all know right from wrong, okay? Because mama don't play that. And I want my kids to be a big part of the world and get out there and make something of themselves, and not be locked up somewhere because they let anger get the best of them. And please remember, if you have kids, teach them, okay? They need to learn, because everybody suffered in this incident that happened to my baby. It wasn't just her, it was him too. He was a young child who made a split-second decision, and now he's in prison for the rest of his life. Her siblings were affected. Her mother was affected. Her father was affected. All of the staff at the UC Davis Hospital, everyone was involved, and everyone was affected by this one child's decision to lose his temper and pick up a child that small and slam her into something and kill her. So it's very important that you teach your kids, you guys. It's just, I can't stress it enough. I have 8 kids, and I have raised them all, and they all know right from wrong, okay? Because mama don't play that. And I want my kids to be a big part of the world and get out there and make something of themselves, and not be locked up somewhere because they let anger get the best of them, and so much more. So, all right, guys, thank you again for watching. I'm going to tend to my wifely duties now because my honey's like, dinner? What happened with that? I'm like, oh my God. I made the kids some dinner, but you know, she was gone. She does COVID testing. She works in the medical field, so she was working late today, so I got to get to it, y'all. All right, everybody, thank you again. Please stay tuned for tomorrow's video, part 4, and I will talk to y'all later. Don't forget to tag me if you're sipping wine, y'all. Bye.